A teenager was screaming at his computer with only 2 people watching.
That's pretty much where my life changed. I sparked that first stream up. I gained 2 viewers, or was it one? It was the one of them 2 viewers. Huh? I'm doing something right now, Ma.
I need change.
You need what?
Change.
Today, he makes more money in 1 month than most people make in 10 years. But the craziest part? He almost gave up right before he became famous. Stick around because what I'm about to show you will blow your mind. Let me tell you about Darren Watkins, but everyone calls him IShowSpeed. When he was just 11 years old, he started making videos in his bedroom. But here's the thing, nobody was watching. I mean, nobody. Picture this, Speed would sit at his computer for hours, playing games and talking to basically no one. Sometimes only 2 people would watch his whole stream, and one of them was probably his mom. His parents thought he was just wasting time. They kept telling him to focus on school instead of playing around on the computer. But Speed didn't give up. Day after day, month after month, he kept making videos. Even when his friends made fun of him, even when he felt like crying because no one cared about his streams. But here's what nobody knew. Speed was about to discover something that would change his life forever. The crazy part? He almost quit right before everything changed. But first, let me tell you about the day that made him millions of dollars, and he didn't even know it was happening. So picture this, it's 2021, and Speed is still just a regular kid making videos. He decides to download this silly app called Talking Ben the Dog. It's just a cartoon dog that repeats what you say.
Don't you? See, look, he liked me. See, look, he liked me. See, he gave for.
Most people would play with it for 5 minutes and get bored, but not Speed. He started talking to this fake dog like it was his best friend. He would ask it questions, get mad when it didn't answer right, and even argue with it. He was being so silly and funny that people couldn't stop watching. Then something incredible happened. People started taking little clips of Speed talking to this dog and putting them on TikTok. These clips went super viral. We're talking millions and millions of views. Kids everywhere were watching Speed scream at a cartoon dog, and they thought it was the funniest thing ever. In just a few months, Speed went from having 100 people watch him to having millions of followers. Can you imagine? One day you're talking to 2 people, the next day millions of kids know your name. But here's the crazy part. Speed almost messed it all up with one big mistake. What he did next could have ruined everything, but instead, it made him even richer. Let me explain. So now Speed had millions of followers, but he was still just a regular teenager. He could have spent all his time just making more funny videos. But Speed was smarter than that. He figured out how to turn his fame into serious money. First, YouTube started paying him for ads. Every time someone watched his videos, Speed got paid. And since millions of people were watching, he started making crazy money. We're talking about $300,000 every single month just from YouTube ads. That's more money than most adults make in 5 years. But that wasn't enough for Speed. He started selling his own t-shirts and hoodies. Kids loved him so much they wanted to wear clothes with his name on them. Every time he released new shirts, they would sell out in minutes. Literally minutes. Then companies started calling him. They wanted to pay Speed millions of dollars just to talk about their products in his videos. Energy drink companies, video game companies, even car companies wanted to work with him. But the real money? The amount that made everyone's jaw drop? I'll tell you in just a second. But first, you need to know about the phone call that changed everything. Speed's phone rang one day, and it was one of the biggest companies in the world. They offered him so much money that even his parents couldn't believe it. But what Speed did next shocked everyone. Okay, are you ready for this? Prime, the energy drink company, offered Speed a deal worth $10 million. They wanted him to be their special partner and even created a flavor just for him. $10 million. That's enough money to buy 50 fancy cars. But that's not even the craziest part. Speed also got deals with sports companies worth millions more. They flew him around the world to meet famous athletes. He got to hang out with NFL players and NBA stars, all because companies wanted to pay him to be in their commercials. And then something happened that nobody saw coming. Another streaming company offered Speed and his friend Kai $140 million to leave YouTube and stream on their platform instead. $140 million. But guess what Speed did? He said no. Can you believe that? He turned down more money than most people will see in their entire lives. Why? Because he knew he could make even more money by staying where he was and building his brand the right way. With all this money, Speed started buying crazy stuff. He bought not one, but 2 Lamborghinis. One of them is painted like his favorite soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo. It cost him over $200,000. That's like buying 4 regular cars and smashing them together into one super expensive car. But here's what I love about Speed's story. It wasn't just about getting lucky. He had a secret weapon that made him different from every other kid trying to become famous online. You want to know what really made Speed special? He never pretended to be someone else. While other creators were trying to act cool or perfect, Speed just acted like himself. When he got excited, he really got excited. When he got frustrated, everyone could see it. He was just being a real kid, and other kids love that. Speed also did something super smart. He started learning about different countries and cultures. When kids from other countries watched his videos, he would try to say hello in their language. He learned words in Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, and more. This made kids all over the world feel special and want to watch him even more. He also shared his real life with his fans. Not just the fun parts, but the hard parts too. When he felt sad, he talked about it. When his family had problems, he was honest about it. This made millions of kids feel like Speed was their actual friend, not just someone on a screen. And here's the coolest part. Speed turned his biggest failures into his biggest successes. Remember when he almost burned down his room with fireworks? Most people would be embarrassed and try to hide it. But Speed made a video about it, and it got millions of views. He learned that being real and honest was way better than trying to be perfect. But what happened next made Speed more than just rich. It made him famous all around the world. Speed became so famous that even governments started talking about him. When he visited other countries, officials would thank him for showing the world how cool their country was. He finally got to meet his hero, Cristiano Ronaldo. This was Speed's biggest dream, and when it happened, he cried happy tears in front of millions of people. That video got over 20 million views because everyone could see how real and happy Speed was. Today, Speed has over 44 million followers. That's more than the population of most countries. He makes so much money that he bought his mom a house when he was only 16 years old. He travels to different countries every month, and thousands of fans show up just to see him. But here's the most amazing part. Speed is only 20 years old. He went from having 2 viewers to being one of the richest young people in the world in just 4 years. That's faster than most people finish college. Companies now pay him millions just to mention their products. He makes more money in one day than most teachers make in a whole year. And the best part? He's still just being himself, the same kid who used to scream at video games in his bedroom. So what can we learn from Speed's incredible story? First, never give up on your dreams even when nobody believes in you. Speed could have quit when only 2 people were watching, but he didn't. Second, always be yourself. Don't try to copy other people or pretend to be someone you're not. The thing that makes you different is actually your superpower. And finally, work really, really hard. Speed didn't get lucky overnight. He spent years making videos before anyone cared. But he never stopped trying. If a regular kid from Ohio can go from 2 viewers to millions of dollars, imagine what you could do. What's your biggest dream? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more amazing success stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, the next story I'm working on is even crazier than this one. Remember, your dreams might seem impossible right now, but so did Speed's. Keep working, stay positive, and who knows? Maybe I'll be making a video about your success story next.